Here we have a SAT math problem. Okay, let's go to the question. In the xy plane, the graphs of y equals to negative x square positive 12 and line L intersect at points capital P of P comma 3 and capital Q of Q comma negative 4. What is the greatest possible value of the slope of line L? Okay, since this is digital SAT, we can go to Desmos graphing calculator and get the graph of this equation y equals to negative x square positive 12. Once we get the graph of this equation, we can plot these 2 points capital P and capital Q. Then we can get possible graphs for line L. Okay, once we get possible graphs for line L, we will be able to get the greatest possible value of the slope of line L. Okay, now let's go to Desmos. Okay, here we have a Desmos graphing calculator. Now we have to get the graph of this equation y equals to negative x square positive 12. For that, we have to give this equation as input. Okay, let me do it. So that is y equals to negative x square positive 12. Okay, here I got the graph of this equation. That's a parabola over here. Okay, now let me zoom it just a moment. Okay, here I have zoomed it. Okay, now I have to plot these 2 points, that is P of P comma 3 and capital Q of Q comma negative 4. Okay, if I want to plot this particular point, I have to consider the point on the parabola where the y coordinate is 3. Okay, I think there are 2 points on the parabola where the y coordinate is 3. One is over here and the other one is over here. So we get 2 possible points for this P of P comma 3. That is, one is P of negative 3 comma positive 3, because for this point the x coordinate is negative 3. Okay, here for this point the x coordinate is 3, that is P of 3 comma 3. So I got 2 possible points for this one. Okay, now to plot this particular point, we have to consider the point on the parabola where the y coordinate is negative 4. Okay, so here the y coordinate is negative 4, and here also again we get 2 possible points for this one as well. So this is Q of, okay, for this point the x coordinate is negative 4. So that is, we get negative 4 comma negative 4 over here, and here the x coordinate is 4 comma 4. Okay, here we get 2 possible points for this capital P and also 2 possible points for this capital Q. Okay, now we have to get possible graphs for this line L. Okay, so now to get the line L, we have to connect P and Q, because the question says the graph of this equation and line L intersect these 2 points P and Q. So when I connect the 2 points P and Q, I'll be able to get the points, 2 points of intersection of the graph of this one, line L. Okay, let me do it. Okay, first let me connect here these 2 points over here. 1 second, let me do it. Okay, I got the graph of line L. Actually, it is a raising line over here. Or we can we can get the graph of line L over here, connecting the points P and Q over here. Let me do it. Okay, so far I got 2 possible graphs for line L, and also I can connect the point P over here and Q over here, or point P over here and Q over here, because the graph of this one and line L intersect at the points P and Q. Okay, now let me connect P and Q over here. Let me finish drawing. And also I can draw the line through the points P and Q over here. Okay, using the given information, I can get 4 possible graphs for line L. Okay, but our aim is to get the greatest possible value of the slope of line L. Okay, here we can consider this line and this line. Both the lines are falling lines, because when you look at both these lines from left side to right side, it's going down over here. Since these 2 lines are falling lines, their slopes will be negative value. So if I want to get the greatest possible value for the slope of line L, we have to ignore the falling lines, because from the falling lines we'll be getting negative slopes. So in that case, we cannot have the greatest possible value for the slope. Okay, now let's skip the falling lines over here. Okay, just a moment. Okay, now I just consider the 2 graphs we have for line L. So for both in this case, both the lines are raising lines. So that is, when you look at the lines from left side to right side, it's going up. Okay, since it's going up, so both the lines will have positive slope, and in one of these 2 lines will have the greatest slope. So how do we have to find that? So look at those 2 lines and identify the one which is steeper. Clearly, this line is steeper than this one. So this line will have the greatest slope. So we can ignore this one as well. Okay. Okay, now I got the possible graph for line L, which has the greatest possible value as a slope. Okay, how do you have to get slope for this one? Then here we can use a rise over run formula to get the slope of this line L. Okay, here this one gives, let me draw, this gives a rise and this gives a run. Okay, clearly the run is just 1 unit because the length over here is 1 unit. Let's measure the rise. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, the rise is 7. So the slope of this line is equals to, let me write the stuff over here. Slope equals to rise over run. So what is the rise? Rise is 7 and run is 1. 7 over 1 is 7. Therefore, the greatest possible value of the slope of line L is 7.